So where I left off on the agenda is the LSA timeline, the system and performance measure data corrections, the project performance report, the data and performance management meeting, and we have a holiday. And we also have Q&A and time for office hours at the end.
Honestly, I'm kind of like, no, I just
Um, so for those of you that have entered the meeting, if you are joining the meeting, please make sure you're on mute so that everyone can get the information from this meeting. Thank you. So moving on to the next slide, we have a new staff update. So please welcome our new HMIS staff. We have 2 additions to our staff on the HMIS support team. We have 2 HMIS support specialists, Amy Lazari and Rachel Maxwell. So you'll be seeing their names and tickets if you haven't already. And so please welcome them. They come with a lot of great experience, so we're happy to have them on the team. So the 2024 HMIS agency audits are coming to an end. So we thank all the agencies that have participated and have provided good feedback to our team. If your agency is in the process of scheduling your audit, please be aware that with the upcoming holidays, events, and reporting, it's important to provide a meeting date so that we can get you scheduled as soon as possible. If your agency has not received a ticket to schedule an audit, we are a little bit behind on scheduling for the audits for November, so we will be sending those out shortly. I don't believe we have any questions, correct? And again, if you have any questions, please enter them in the chat. We have my support team is online to sort of answer any questions that you might have. Okay, next up we have Hugo.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to begin by talking about some tips that we want to share regarding the HMS account update and testing form. The HMIS Help Desk has received an influx of invalid new HMIS user account creation forms. Errors in these forms delay the account creation process. Agency administrators should ensure that all account creation forms submitted have the user's full name and email address typed correctly, only the fictitious client IDs in the skills test section of the form rather than fictitious client names, and the program roster report attached as a PDF file.
Thank you for that, Hugo. Give it a minute if there's any questions. Michaela?
Good morning, everyone. For the 2024 HMIS Part 2 live training, thank you to all of those who attended on October 30th. If you haven't already, please complete our training satisfaction survey. We would really appreciate your feedback. This survey is optional and completely anonymous. We did receive some feedback regarding the training time, and we would like to apply that feedback to our future trainings, starting by extending our meetings to allow more times for questions or concerns. If you were not able to attend, you can view the webinar materials on our website at ochmis.org. We do have our recording PowerPoint, and meeting minutes there.
A few moments for any questions.
Diana, could I share some notes? Can you hear me okay?
You're a little low, Elizabeth.
Okay, I'll try to speak up. Can you hear me better?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, and thank you everyone for those who attended. We're also sending out a recap of the training for additional information as Michaela shared on this slide. As Michaela mentioned, we really appreciate your feedback so that we can make updates to the training. So please do take the survey and share your feedback if you would like to see any additional demos or any topics included in the training. So we'll be sending out a newsletter with the recap and the survey, as well as links to the training material. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So we'll go ahead and move on to our next topic. Michaela?
CES Enrollment City Ties. We are pleased to announce 2 new questions that have been added to our CES enrollment screen. These fields are used to support with the matching housing opportunity review process. If the question, "Are you currently employed or go to school in the following cities?" is answered, it would automatically populate the question asking for the household member's city tie. Both questions do have multi-select drop-downs, so you are allowed to select more than one answer. If the household does have a city tie, or does not have a city tie, please reach out to the CES admin team for additional information regarding the required document that needs to be uploaded.
Hey, Michaela, are you going to be doing a demo on this?
Yes, if
Okay,
you can.
let me stop sharing so you're ready.
Thank you, Diana. And are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So everyone, the questions will be in the enrollment screen. This is a fictitious account with a fictitious client on our training website here. When you're in the enrollment screen, it will ask for the project start date, prior living situation questions, disabling conditions and barriers, monthly income, non-cash, health insurance, and then our custom questions. In our custom questions, it will ask, "Are you currently employed or go to school in the city of Anaheim, Garden Grove, or Santa Ana?" When selecting that drop-down, you are able to select more than one answer or just one answer. For this example, I will be selecting both. And then it will auto-populate an additional question. So if I remove them and then add them back, it would ask for the household member with the city tie. In this dropdown, you are able to select more than one as well. So for this example, I'll be selecting the head of household's child and the spouse or partner. And then you're able to save and close the enrollment.
Thank you, Michaela, for sharing that. We'll give it a few minutes for everyone to have the opportunity to ask questions, and let me go ahead and share my screen again. Kayla, can you confirm that you see the slide again, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on then. Elizabeth, are you able to present or would you like me to?
Yes, I can present the slide. Can you hear me okay, Diana?
Yes.
So we wanted to provide additional guidance regarding CS assessments. So in order for a household to be served on a coordinated entry, the household must be enrolled in a coordinated entry project as well as referred to the community queue. So the following steps need to occur so that the participant is active on the community queue and has all the requirements that will keep them active. So to start off, you should be switching over to County of Orange and enroll the household into the appropriate CS program, either individual CS, which is any household type that isn't a family, and family CS. The household type is at least one adult and a minor child between the ages 0 to 17. Once the household is enrolled, go to the head of household and complete the current living situation as well as the CS assessment. From there, you'll go ahead and add the required documentation, such as the homeless verification and disability verification form. Once that is done, you can then refer the household from their CS assessment. We do have some KBs linked at the end of the slide to provide additional context and step-by-step to support you in this workflow. And we wanted to note that when a household housing interest changes, the household needs to be removed from the community queue and a new CS assessment needs to be created. And from that latest assessment, they are then re-referred to the community queue. This is to ensure the household is included in the community queue and isn't blocked for any reason. The report does pull the latest assessment, so it's important to ensure that the referral was sent from the latest assessment.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Give it a few moments to see if anyone has any questions.
Hey Diana, I see in the chat that there are some questions about the CES enrollment city ties.
Okay.
I will read them aloud just in case if anyone can't see the chat. So the first question was, can you go over what constitutes a city tie?
Okay, city tie specifically is referring to if a client is working or going to school in that particular city. And so that constitutes a city tie. So, and then I believe there was another question, correct?
Yes, and the second question is,
Really quick, I would just add to that, can be a little bit of differences between the different cities and what they constitute as a city tie. And we're still kind of working on that uh, to confirm that information, but
Recording in progress.
I'm sorry, can you guys hear me? I'm having a bit of technical difficulties.
Yes, it's just echoing a bit.
Okay. All right. Hopefully that irons itself out. Again, everyone, I apologize for all the technical difficulties that we're having today with the meeting. So let's
We
go
also
ahead.
have one more question.
Okay.
Sorry, one more question in the chat regarding the city tie. They want to know when you say working or going to school, does that mean currently or not in the past?
I believe the city ties is specific to currently. So yeah, I don't believe it's in regards to any past sort of history regarding the client.
Diana, do you mind if I weigh in a little bit?
Sure, go ahead, Amy.
Thanks, Diana. Julio, just to address your question, when it comes to establishing city ties for a participant, it's really important to consider if they're working currently, going to school currently, or sleeping currently in one of those three cities. And those three cities correspond to the three other housing authorities besides the Orange County Housing Authority, which is why each of them is going to have their different standards for what is considered an adequate city tie. So the baseline requirement would be that they are currently working, going to school, or sleeping in one of those three cities. And then the individual housing authority would work with the case manager to collect the documentation that would meet the requirement for the amount of time that they need. So that relates specifically to employment or going to school. Sometimes there are specific timelines that the housing authorities need to see prove through documentation that that participant has been working or going to school for a sufficient amount of time in those cities. And the same goes for living as well. But the main thing is if you're working with participants who are currently working, going to school, or sleeping in one of those three cities, reach out to the CES administrator to ask them what kind of documentation needs to be collected and added to the participants' files.
Perfect. That was actually my next question was what kind of documentation are you looking for? Thank you, Amy.
Thank you for your question, Julio.
Thank you, Amy, for providing that information. All right, so we'll go ahead and move forward. Elizabeth?
Hi, Diana. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Just wanted to provide a quick overview of this year's LSA timeline and want to thank all the agencies in advance for your support during this reporting period. Wanted to provide an update that the LSA has officially opened and our HMS team was able to have a successful upload this Monday, November 4th. So the next step is for us, our team, to prepare agency files to send out to each agency. So please keep an eye out for an email next week regarding your agency file. We're going to be sending over error flags and warning flags that were produced by the LSA upload, and we'll be providing additional context regarding how to address those errors and warning flags. And the first round of corrections, the period is November 11th to 29th. We want to thank all of the agency in advance in taking the time to review and making those corrections. Our HMS team will be available to provide support as needed. Please feel free to reach out. And then we are aiming to do a second round of warning flags December. So after the first round, we're going to go ahead and upload the report again, hoping to clear out errors and warning flags, and any remaining flags will reach out for a second round of review. And our team is planning to submit the start preparing for the submission January 16th. So as you can tell, our timeline, we do have a quick turnaround, and we understand with the holidays it could get a little tight. So we want to try to keep with our timeline to ensure that we submit the LSA in time. And our team will be providing additional context in the email and guidance on how to address the flags. And we will also reach out to provide an update regarding office hours that we'll be hosting to provide additional support as needed.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We'll give it a few moments to see if anyone has any questions.
I have a question and comment. So I've noticed that how can I say this? The efforts around LSA has increased in terms of having more than one round of corrections, and even, I guess, also having this upload file. I don't think, unless I didn't know about it, there was an upload file previous to this round of LSA. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or has there always been an LSA upload?
Yes, the upload is handled by our team, but we did share some pre-LSA files to help with data cleanup. So
Yeah. I just didn't know that it was being uploaded somewhere. Okay, so next question. So when you're looking at the LSA files, obviously it's about the overlaps. How do you suggest that an agency coordinate, let's say, for example, just to pick Mercy House and Illumination Foundation, because I think I know they have a emergency program. How do you suggest that an agency coordinate with another agency where there's an overlap in enrollment? So what I've been suggesting to my team is that we verify that the overlapping that the client was in fact enrolled in our program during those dates by going back and looking at the paperwork. I think it's more difficult to actually talk to someone at another program. So that's the commentary. So I'm asking the question is, how do you suggest, other than verifying our paperwork, that the enrollment dates are right where there isn't an overlap indicated, how do you suggest we coordinate further with the overlapping agencies?
Yeah, thank you for your question. That is the correct process, is reviewing your data entry, ensuring that the participant's start date and exit date is accurate, and you can notify us saying, hey, we saw these entries listed on our draft data that's identifying overlapping enrollments. You can let us know. We did review and verify that these dates are accurate, and from there, our team will go ahead and reach out to the partner agency to further investigate to see if there was any edits on their end, and if there was overlap for certain reason, we can discuss with both agencies to provide an explanation if there was a reason the overlap did occur and it is accurate. However, if it isn't accurate and the dates need to be adjusted, then feel free to edit and ensure the date does reflect the actual date the participant was enrolled and exited your program.
So make the edits, the actual edits in HMIS. That way, the next round of corrections, that particular client won't be there.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Okay. Yep. So, okay, great. So I'm glad to hear that our responsibility is to just make sure that we have confirmed the dates are right on our end, as opposed to having to reach out to the partner agency that may have. So as the HMIS lead, you will help coordinate that communication. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we'll support with that. For example, there could be an emergency shelter that ends June 30th, and the participant moves on to participate in another emergency shelter July 1st. So that which there needs to be that the date needs to ensure that they are exiting from one emergency shelter and participating in a new one, that the dates don't overlap. So if your agency can verify and share that the exit and entry date is accurate, we'll go ahead and work with the other agency to verify. It could be that there just needs to be adjustment to show that there was a transfer between the emergency shelter. If there is, as mentioned, overlap, we'll go ahead and further investigate and find the explanation on why there was an overlap.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you for your question.
Okay, we'll give it a few more seconds to see if anyone has any questions regarding the LSA. Chat, so I think we can move on. Elizabeth, I believe this is yours as well.
Yes. Thank you, Diana. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. So we also wanted to let our community know that during the LSA reporting period, it is also the system performance measure reporting period as well. They do share the same reporting period of October 1st to September 30th. And for the system performance measure, we're going to be also sending out draft data, and we'll be sending additional information in the email. Similar to LSA, we're going to provide additional guidance on how to review the file and identify certain fields and columns that your agency should be taking a look at. So the data we'll be reviewing is length of stay, length of homelessness, return to homelessness, stayers and leavers with increased income, successful exits from street outreach, exit to permanent housing from emergency shelter, transitional housing, and rapid housing projects, as well as stabilizing PH participant in permanent housing. So when you get this file, you're going to get information on how to review the data and just verifying that your agency data is accurate and reflecting the outcome of your program. And if there are any corrections, we do ask that you make those corrections in clarity. And if there's any questions on the files you're reviewing, feel free to reach out to our HMS team. We're more than happy to further discuss and schedule a Zoom call if needed to further dive into those reports.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We'll give it a few moments to see if there's any questions. I am not seeing anything, so we'll move on. Hugo?
Project performance reports. The project performance report for rapid rehousing will be published on the OCHMS website in the upcoming weeks. Current and past PPRs can be found on our website by navigating to Reports and then Project Performance Reports. Corrections for the transitional housing PPR draft data will be uploaded into Dropbox in the upcoming weeks. The project performance overview is a helpful document which provides important information regarding the PPRs, including the thresholds for each goal and our publishing schedule.
So we'll give it a few moments to see if anyone has any questions. Thank you, Heather, for putting the link in our chat. It's to the project performance overview, so you have that available to you. And our project performance reports link as well. Seeing any questions, so we'll move on. Michaela?
Data and performance management meeting. Our agenda for our data and performance management meeting would first be about our quarterly project performance review and discussion regarding our emergency shelter, street outreach, and homelessness prevention. Next, we would discuss the quarterly data quality report card. And then lastly, the physical address of housing placement. This will be on Wednesday, November 13th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we also have our meeting link below if you're needing to join.
And Heather's also put that link in the chat. We will be sending out a newsletter to our agency administrators regarding this particular meeting. It is held quarterly, so we encourage you to join this meeting if you have any of these projects in your agency. If you aren't able to attend, we will be recording this meeting as well so that you can review the information at a later date. Any questions? So we'll move on. Hugo?
Holidays. The HMIS Help Desk will be closed on Thursday, November 28th and Friday, November 29th in observance of Thanksgiving. We will be back the following business day to assist you on Monday, December 2nd.
Thank you, Hugo. This brings us to the Q&A portion of our user meeting. Again, thank you everyone so much for bearing with us with the technical difficulties we've had today. If you haven't entered your name and your agency's name in the chat box, please do so now. And we'll leave this open for a little bit for Q&A regarding the topics we discussed today. We will be having office hours after we end this portion of the Q&A. So if you have general HMIS questions, please hang on for our office hours.
Yes, thank you everyone for your patience. We do apologize for the technical issues we're encountering, but we will ensure to include all the notes in the meeting minutes if there were some issues with audio. So please do review our recorded training and meeting minutes for additional details.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for including that. Not seeing any questions come up. So again, thank you everyone for bearing with us today. Have a great day. Our next user meeting will be on December 4th.